Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports. You have to hit a round ball with a round bat squarely. It is a brain skill. The faster you are at making decisions and transferring the trajectory of a ball from your eyes to your brain, the better you will be. To hit a baseball, depending on the speed of the pitch, you will most likely have less than a second for the ball to leave the pitcher's hand and blow right by you. If you look at the speed in which an average teenage baseball player can hit, it will still sound hard. Most teenage baseball players can hit a ball that's coming at about 60 miles per hour. If you look at that pitch on a full-size diamond, it takes the ball approximately 750 milliseconds to go from the hand to the glove. The batter takes about 100 milliseconds to see the pitch and identify what is actually happening, as well as another 50 milliseconds to see the spin and figure out the trajectory of the ball. Hitters then have about 450 milliseconds to make all the decisions about the swing, whether or not they're going to swing, where the bat should be placed, should they be going to opposite field, or pulling the ball. The swing itself takes about 150 milliseconds. If they start that swing a little bit early or a little bit late by about 7 milliseconds, it could be the difference of a hit and a foul ball. Now remember, in baseball, the goal isn't just simply to hit the ball. It's to hit the ball to a spot in which the batter can reach base safely. In an average game, a hitter will likely get 4 plate appearances. In each plate appearance, there's a limit of 3 strikes before you're out. So you get 12 swing and misses over the whole game. And that's not including the pitches that aren't swung at but are still called strikes. That number of 12 could become smaller, however. If on the first pitch of your first at-bat, you hit a ball right to the shortstop, and he doesn't mess it all up, you now only have 9 swing and misses left for the rest of the game. You come up to bat again and watch 4 terrible pitches go by you for a walk. You now most likely only have 2 plate appearances left, meaning only 6 more swing and misses, even though you haven't actually swung and missed once. I could give a load more examples, but I hope you get the point now. Getting a base hit is a hard thing to do. There's a good reason that the best hitters of today hit anywhere from a 300 average to a 330 average. So the numbers I mentioned earlier about time you get to see a pitch were for a 60 mile per hour fastball. What about players in the major leagues? What do they see on a nightly basis? For a 95 mile an hour fastball to reach home plate, it takes 435 milliseconds. If, as I mentioned earlier, it takes 100 milliseconds plus 50 milliseconds to see the pitch and read the spin of the ball, that leaves them with 135 milliseconds to make all the decisions prior to swinging. Of course, then the 150 milliseconds for the swing. A 95 mile per hour pitch is an average MLB speed in the modern day game. There are plenty of pitches in the game that can now break 100 miles per hour, which is just ridiculous when you think of the timing of the pitch like that. Yet most, if not all, MLB players can hit it. If we look back to 1941, it isn't very easy to find pitch speeds, mostly because they weren't recorded and we didn't have the technology to do so. However, it is believed to have been very similar to the pace of the pitches now. Over the years, baseball has seen many pitchers at different time periods break the 100 barrier, just without true recognition of it. The 1940s weren't really that time period, though. It was the start of an era which was very hitter-friendly. The spitball had only recently been banned, and it had a big effect on pitchers. However, the speeds they were throwing were still in the mid-90s, so when we look at an incredible accomplishment from the year of 1941, you have to take it with a very, very slight grain of salt. This accomplishment is Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hit streak. Across 56 consecutive games, he recorded at least 1, if not more, hits every game. This streak was the longest at the time of happening and is still the longest today, over 78 seasons later. When he did it, he beat the current streak by 11 games, which had been set in the 1800s. Since he set it in 1941, the closest anyone has ever come was Pete Rose in 1978 with 44 games. Over the 150 years of MLB baseball, only 57 people have completed hit streaks of 30 or more. I personally believe Joe DiMaggio's record will not be broken without the help of a rule change. I don't know what the change has to be, but there has to be some advantage given back to the hitter for such a preposterous thing to happen again.